How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. You here for the staff photo?
I was just asking her who they were.
Oh.
What group they are.
Oh, you know anything about the state capitol?
I know a little bit. Not too much. 1906 to 1917 to build it. And then right here kind of tells you about like, the restoration and stuff.
Do you know the hidden purpose of this building?
The hidden purpose?
The architectural, behind the architectural design?
Okay.
It's supposed to represent the universe. It's supposed to represent the birth of the universe. So if you stand here, this is a circle, the place where all the pressure will. If you put mass under pressure, it gets stronger. So like think of a fusion reactor. In a fusion reactor, there's a lot of energy in the center. And that energy is under huge pressure, right? You know a fusion reactor?
You're talking like nuclear reactors, like fusion versus fission?
Have you? No, forget about fission.
Okay.
But just fusion.
I don't know enough about it to know anything about it.
You haven't heard the news? Like where they talk about, they describe like a huge amount of energy in a small area under pressure to supply a civilization with power, right? Okay. Right, fusion reactors give power to people. Okay. You know that.
Well, I just know they give off energy by what you're
saying.
Yeah,
energy. They give energy. Yep. They're supposed to power a civilization. Fusion reactor. So this right here is a replication of a fusion reactor, except you don't have the power. The people are the power. So at the center, if you walk in the center, the people are supposed to be the power. And in that power is supposed to be gravity, or like a pressure. A lot of pressure on the people. So this building is supposed to represent that pressure to control the people or to produce energy for a civilization. So all the people here, all the people standing in the circle, come through the circle, are supposed to know that they're here for a purpose. And that purpose is to find, produce, and give energy throughout their civilization. So the area matters. So we're not so Wisconsin.
The area of Madison?
The area matters.
Matters. Okay.
So you're not supposed to give energy to the whole country. You're supposed to make sure Madison and the state of Wisconsin has the power, right? Has power for their civilization. Oh, well, for their state. I'm sorry, for their state. So when you walk in that area, the people who understand that hidden purpose feel more responsible. No, because they know what they're doing. They know that they're here for a reason, and that reason is to improve the state. And this architecture is supposed to like use building materials to create these, like the psychology setup. Well, to tell that story. So to tell the story, you use the building around you. You use what you have, so that you don't write it. You're not having to write it down for people. Well, so that smart people feel good that they know their purpose, and they kept the purpose hidden. Well, kept the purpose in plain view, so that it's not like you're cheating anybody and you're hiding. People don't feel left out, or people, whether they know it or not, walk through the Capitol and they're walking through an incredible purpose. And
what an incredible building and view for sure too.
Yeah, but the surface is an illusion. The illusion, like the way people look, your nose, your eyes, your face, those are irrelevant things. What matters the most is what's beneath the surface. And this building, the facade is nice, but the more important things is why everything is built the way it is, or what is hiding.
I haven't heard it that way
beneath
before.
The surface. So what's important is what you don't see. It's the gravity of the building, the design of the building, the architecture of the building, the structure of the building. That is important. So people like what they see. Those are illusions. That's energy's perspective. So, but when you get smarter, you start to see the gravity of everything around you. What is hiding beneath the surface? And what's hiding beneath the surface in plain view is a replication of the universe.
Fair enough. I had never heard of it that way.
Yeah, you shouldn't profile people, man. You shouldn't. I saw you looking at me a couple of times while I was standing in the crowd.
You're looking at everyone.
Well, when I looked over to my right, your eyes were on me. So I came over to educate you and not to profile people. And there's some people who show up, don't dress right, well, don't dress like everybody else, but they're just as smart as the people around them. So you should look beneath the surface. You should search for the gravity of that person before you judge them.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So when you come through
Yeah.
and you're seeing everything,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about education portion? Yeah. What? The gravity.
The gravity of the building.
Okay.
It's the material, and the arrangement of the material.
Mm-hmm.
So not just what it's made out of, but how did they arrange the material? So like what kind of?
So can I ask you, is the material different for different views?
No, the material.
So like
doesn't
different
change.
pressure?
No, this pressure has a lot to do with gravity, but this building has stability. Well, it's designed to represent stability. I mean, support and shelter. So the pillars support the building, and the shelter is the dome. So these are two signs, two things that gravity provides us. And if you look outside, if you go outside, the first thing you see is the sky, and if you look down at the ground, the first thing you see is the ground, right?
Yeah.
So gravity gives us our sky and gives us the ground we stand on. And if you wanted to take the outside and put it on the inside and represent the outside on the inside, you would have a dome, well, a sky, a cover, and a firm ground to stand on. So these are two forms of gravity. Well, to represent gravity, I guess you need those two things, support and shelter. And if you design that support and shelter a particular way, people can return their thoughts. Well, it can have a meaning. So certain structures have different meaning in certain designs. So let's say this building has a circular origin. Like so, if you.
I just want to grab this pen.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so the building has an so if you study physics and you look at the origin so the origin is this circular area. The universe was created by gravity. So just like our planet was formed through forces of gravity. So if you apply all the elements of the Earth in a small area, you start to build outwards, and you get a planet. So you start at the core, you have lots of energy at the core of the Earth. You start building out, you get more dense material, and then the densest material is at the center. So gravity is what kept all that material together until gravity at the center of the Earth got too weak to continue to build outwards. So dense at the center, less dense as you get to the surface.
Okay.
So less pressure as you get to the surface. So this right here is supposed to represent a large area of pressure. And at the very center is the core, which is energy. And if at the beginning of time, before time came into existence, was a universe in a very small area. Like they call it the singularity, whatever. But I don't think it's a singularity. I think it's just a very small area of incredible pressure. And in that area is lots of energy. And then that energy found a way to escape. So this area is supposed to represent energy escaping and expanding to create a universe. So here's the pressure, and as you go up, imagine like a huge explosion, a very, very large explosion of energy that created
when the universe was
created the universe. So this area is the area of pressure. The circle represents the gravity, the most gravity in the whole building. It's the smallest area, right? So you see this circle.
Big.
Well, this right here, this circle is the smallest area of the whole building, right? And as you go upwards, the area expands. So another sign of a universe being born and expanding into a larger area. So somebody was very smart. The architect of this building was.
I was going to ask. Do you know who it was?
I don't know. But they do it at all the Capitol buildings. They want smart people want to feel valued when they walk into this building, but they don't want to tell people. It's like it's a secret. Like you don't deserve to know the truth unless you put in the work to learn it. Like unless you go to school, you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a physicist. You're supposed to. That's when you see the architecture everywhere you go. That someone's trying to hide the birth of the universe in capitals or museums or places of historical value.
Appreciate it.
And so that's what you learn when you get here. Well, I learned for free. I learned in my bedroom.
Reading a lot of books?
No,
or?
listening to people with implants. So arguing with people with an implant. So I was thinking about getting stronger by weightlifting, and when I did, I learned about energy and gravity, and that if you apply a lot of pressure to a human body, you can turn that person into a very dense human being. So instead of getting bigger, you get denser. So instead of mass, you know how weightlifters, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, they gain mass?
Yep.
What if that weightlifter kept lifting weights but stopped getting bigger? They'd be denser, right?
Yeah.
So this room, so instead of being up there, we stay right here where there's a lot of pressure. So the weightlifter would stand there and they would have be under a huge pressure. They'd have a lot of mass under a huge pressure, and this is where they'd be, right in this area. And that's where we're supposed to be. We should be here, but instead we like to expand, we like our freedom, we like to stretch out, we like to branch out. And that's where you don't want to be. Well, if you want to be strong, you want to stay here. You want to stay right where you're under pressure, you have a lot of gravity, you're really strong. And you're dense, you're faster, you live longer, you have stamina, you heal faster. Incredible gifts from gravity. That's what's important. The incredible gifts you get from gravity, from pressure. And that's what this area is supposed to represent. The area of pressure, the area with the most energy. And that area is supposed to represent the area with the most freedom. You don't want to be, you can be there, but somebody has to stay here. And that's you guys. You cops are supposed to stay here. Stay here in the area of pressure under strength, speed, and stamina. You guys are supposed to be the strongest people in our community. You're supposed to be very, very dense, very fast, have longevity, have stamina, while everybody else enjoys their freedom if they choose. But instead, we have police officers who don't represent gravity, who aren't that strong, who aren't that dense, who aren't that smart, who do or say things that interfere with people's freedoms. What you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to wait for their freedoms to interfere with other people's freedoms before you.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Yep, I'm just educating you. Don't profile people in the future. So that cop profiled me when I got here and acted like I was a bad person. And it just like stared at me out of everybody in the crowd. So I just educated him that, hey, I know more about this building than 95% of the people who came here. Not just from facts that are posted online, but because I learned physics in my bedroom. I learned physics while arguing with people using an implant that taught me the architecture of this building has a hidden symbology. So while arguing with people with implants, I taught that cop what I learned. And that this building has value, hidden value, for the smartest, the strongest, the fastest, the densest, the people who have worth in our civilization. And the people who care to learn, who care to improve. That's what I taught that officer. That I came here to learn, I came here to improve, and I came here to be the strongest, to be here where, holy crap, look, it looks like a star. Look, holy crap. If you look at the ground, look at that. It looks like a big old star, like a big sun. And at the center is a circle, and the circle, look at that. The circle has a huge, it's like you're under pressure, like a huge pressure, right? Look at that circle. It's like a big star, or like a circle under gravity's pressure. So I guess they're representing fusion. And look at these Mason symbols, these Mason squares, energy and gravity. You see that? All over. Energy and gravity. Look at that. Energy and gravity, energy and gravity, energy and gravity, energy and gravity. Right here is another, can you see it? Right here is a big old circle. That's fusion. Imagine a fusion reactor and, well, energy, a huge mass of energy under a very dense pressure. Look at that. Dense, something very dense. Gravity is very dense. So whatever magnetism, they use magnets, but in reality, we would need better tools to put that energy under pressure. And right here is the origin of the universe. And once this energy found a way to escape, found little spaces to escape, it created a huge explosion. And that's what you see here. A huge explosion that still the universe remains, so that the universe remains. Well, and created the universe we existed in. So somewhere in the universe is the origin of our universe. And it is there where gravity lies. Gravity is still there, and she is supporting and sheltering our universe. She's creating the support and the shelter. So the fabric of space expanded. The fabric of space that's really highly compressed in this area. The fabric of space is usually highly compressed in this area. And the gravity that we use to exist, the gravity of that fabric was compressing lots of energy, is compressing lots of energy. In fact, this is a representation. And in reality, it's like this. It's like a very small area. Like all of this is really in a small area of space. And it's a huge amount of pressure. Think like 1 billion trillion times the gravity of Earth in this very small area with highly compressed energy in that same area. So the gravity, that energy, in this area, there's a huge amount of space. It's just highly compressed. So if there is space in any small area, energy will find a way to escape, which is what, I'm so sorry, I was just reminded that fusion reactors are just like that. Fusion reactors are having trouble because the energy inside a fusion reactor keeps finding a way to escape. I figured that out while I was, before I knew what a fusion reactor was. I learned that energy finds a way to escape because I forgot why, but it had something to do with weightlifting. So energy can escape, and that small amount of energy that's under that huge amount of pressure is incredibly powerful. So it doesn't take too much energy to find a way to escape. It doesn't take too much energy to find a way to escape and create a huge amount of space. So a little bit of energy escaping over a very large area created this universe. So that's incredible, right? That it only took a small amount of energy to escape to create the whole space the universe we exist in. Isn't that cool? So that means that what we see is nothing compared to the gravity that supports our entire universe. That gravity is so strong, so powerful that it has a small amount of the energy it compresses could escape and create this huge universe. And some architect, a very smart architect, took the birth of the universe and placed it into this building. Right? Isn't that cool? But they didn't tell anybody. But that's bad. You can't keep the secrets of the birth of the universe from the general population. They deserve to know where they are and how they came into existence. They deserve to know the truth about gravity, and they deserve to know the truth about their purpose. Our purpose is to enjoy our freedom, and our purpose is to our purpose is to grow closer to gravity. So we have to do two things. So the smartest and the strongest of us, we have to do two things. We have to enjoy our freedom, and we have to get closer to gravity. And if we get closer to gravity, you're supposed to have more freedoms. So what my job is to help people learn how to get closer to gravity. And they can get closer to gravity, they can get stronger. If they can get stronger, they can have speed, density, longevity, and improved life experiences. And those improved life experiences we're supposed to use as we explore our universe, as we explore our civilization, as we explore as we explore life, freedom. Take advantage of our freedoms. Isn't that incredible? That is incredible. That is the most incredible thing in the world. And I learned exactly how to do it. You got to improve weightlifting. If you can improve weightlifting to apply greater force in the same area on a human body, if you can improve weightlifting to apply greater force in the same area inside a human body, you can turn that human into a very, very dense person. If you turn the human into this area, if you put a human here in this circle right here, can you see it? If you take a human and you put him there, and around that human you put a huge pressure, but the pressure is closer than you think. The pressure is your muscles, your bones, your internals, everything internal. So the pressure is your muscles, your bones, your skin, everything external to you. And on the inside is your organs, your heart, your lungs, your DNA, your blood, your instructions. So under pressure and with more energy, your instructions will be followed with better. So it's like you now have the pressure and the power to follow the instructions built into your DNA, and when you do, you will have great strength, great speed, great stamina, longevity. You rearrange your body here under the pressure. And when you do, if you wanted to, you would be able to tell people you are stronger, faster, denser, you'll live longer, you'll have better life experiences, and you'll be incredible. You're an incredible human being. So that when people want to, and you'll be able to bear witness, you'll be able to bear witness to the incredible things people do with their freedom. And you'll be able to protect them. You'll be able to protect these people when they ask for help. This is the purpose of gravity, to support and shelter life and freedom. Freedom, energy, to support and shelter energy. And energy is us. We are energy. And that energy is the most valuable thing to gravity. She loves energy. She loves life. And she doesn't want to see people die. Gravity prefers to keep life in existence. And she gives you the tools, or she hid the way to keep life in existence in our bodies. And all you need is a tool to apply the right pressure to get closer to gravity, so that you can stay alive and you can continue to exist. And that's where we're supposed to be, right here with gravity for forever. But instead, people are exercising their freedoms more than they are getting stronger. So instead of doing what they're supposed to do, people have been acting on their freedom and dying. The opposite. Dying, losing their energy, wasting their energy. So human beings have a huge amount of energy stored in their bodies. It's just, if you don't compress that life, if you don't compress the amount of energy in your body, it gets used up quickly. And if we learn to compress the power within our bodies, we would live longer. So instead of using that power rapidly, you compress it and control it, and it'll last longer, right? But when you compress and control power, when you compress and control lots of power, it gets stronger. So not only will your power last longer, the power under pressure also gets stronger. It's mass under pressure. Mass under pressure is strength. And mass under pressure is also a way to control energy, preserve energy. Make it last longer. So the sun has a large lifespan. A fusion reactor has a long lifespan if you can keep the process going. So human beings have one job: continue to weightlift under pressure with lots of force in the same area on the weightlifting bar, and continue to eat. So we are easier to keep alive than a fusion reactor. A fusion reactor requires a lot more effort, and it puts out a lot more power, but we don't have, we can start with weightlifting. We can start where we're supposed to start, close to gravity. And we can spend as much time as we need trying to get the fusion reactor to work. So instead of wasting lives reteaching people over and over again how to build a fusion reactor, we can stay alive so the same people who already know how to build one, how to perfect a fusion reactor, can do it within their lifetime. And with strength, speed, stamina, density, and slow aging. So the reactor is built. And we don't have to wait for college graduates to reappear to continue the process of building the reactor. So here is where we're supposed to start. And before we exercise any freedoms like building a fusion reactor, which is a freedom, we were supposed to get stronger. That's first. Get closer to gravity first. And then exercise your freedoms. So fusion reactor is supposed to be second. But somebody is making that a first priority. They're ignoring reality. Reality dictates that human beings have to be improved first. Once you improve man, you can improve your civilization. You can improve your existence, your overall existence. But you start with the people. And when you, after the people, once you have taught them how to get stronger, you gave them an opportunity to get stronger, which smart people would take, they can then start exercising their freedoms. So somebody messed up. Somebody started this country out on the wrong foot, took a huge step in the wrong direction. They gave people a whole lot of freedom, and they never taught us how to get stronger, how to make people stronger, how to begin a civilization. You start with the people. You don't start with freedoms. You don't start with illusions. You don't expand across the globe. You start with each person in your civilization. You give them an opportunity, and you take the strongest people in your civilization, and you start to build outwards. If you want to. If you want to waste your energy creating imaginations or creating illusions, that's your freedom. If you want to build a civilization so that you're organized, or you appear organized, or you want to see things, that's all that is. That's all your civilization is. That's all it is. You can see your civilization from the surface, but the real civilization is beneath the surface. It's the people. The people are the most important things. So that's where you start.
And I'm going to be your guys' tour guide today.
They're taking a tour. I was going to take a tour. Oh, for sale. Did you know there was a tour today? I had no idea. But yeah, this is the tour. Oh, they wanted me to be a bad person. Oh, harassment, the word awesome. There's a bunch of gay people. These people are gay. They're gay. They hate people who aren't gay. So the people taking the tour are in the gay community. Well, the tour guide is gay. She's using the word awesome all the time. Anybody who uses the word awesome is in the gay community. There's no doubt about it. If you hear them screaming the word awesome, they are gay. These are grown-ass people. How many grown-ass people are talking like children? There is no 20-year-old using the word awesome to describe anything. Where the hell did that come from? That's not a new word, man. You don't use awesome like you're a child talking to people. Or maybe it's just a form of harassment. People hate the word awesome. I hate the word awesome. But if you hear it all the time, it can become aggravating. But anyways, I hate the word awesome. It's so stupid. You're not supposed to use the word awesome at all. But, because you're a grown up and children use the word awesome, not adults. And it's like they're talking to a child. So when you say, that's an awesome job you did, man, and you just finished shoveling 10,000 pounds of dirt and putting it at work, that's harassment, man. You know you're harassing somebody. Why the hell are you using the word awesome? You are a 45-year-old man, and who the hell uses the word awesome? Anyways, it's gay people. They use the word awesome to harass straight people and call them children because they refuse to grow up and have sex with gay people. So the gay community has a psychology that if you aren't trying to be a man or if you're not growing up, it's because you want to have sex with you're not having sex with dudes. So as long as you're not having sex with dudes, you are not growing up. You are not going to mature. You're not going to have any greater stance in life. I'm not boss. My name is John. Don't call me boss.
How you doing, John?
Stop talking to me.
I can talk, bro.
Yeah, but you can talk to whoever you want. I can ask you to stop talking to me. I can ask you to stop talking to me.
You could ask me to stop talking to me.
Thank you.
All right, I don't have to.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself too.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Do it then. Officer, this man just threatened me. This man just threatened me.
Weird as hell.
You just threatened me. I'd like to press charges. No, you cannot threaten to beat somebody up. You cannot threaten to beat somebody up.
Back off, man.
You cannot threaten to beat somebody up. Officer. No, I'm not. No, I would like to press charges. I would like to press charges. He just threatened to beat me up. He just threatened to beat me up. I would like to file a police report. This man just threatened to beat me up. I asked him to stop talking to me, and he told me I don't have to. And then he threatened to beat me up.
He's exiting and leaving.
What the hell are you talking about?
Just saying, he's exiting and leaving.
You cannot threaten to beat somebody up. But he said that. That's a threat.
He's leaving. He's exiting the building.
Well, that's irrelevant. You don't get to leave once you committed a crime.
He's leaving the building. There's peace.
You're a worthless cop. It's because you're weak. Yes, you are. You couldn't even effect an arrest if you wanted to. No, you couldn't. You're weak ass. He just threatened to beat me up, and instead of doing your job because you're weak,
And he left.
that's not good enough.
There's no issue here.
You're lying. A threat is a threat.
I took care of it, and he walked out, and
You did not take care of it. I get a chance to press charges.
there's no charges to be filed because he didn't.
He did threaten. I just recorded him threatening me. I will beat you up. That's a threat.
I came over and I told him to leave.
That's not good enough, man. I get a choice. Holy shit, you're a worthless cop. You shouldn't even be a cop if you can't even effective arrest. If you're too scared to do your job, stop being a cop. Stop being a cop. It's not resolved. I felt threatened. I get a choice to press charges. I'm going to post this video. I hope someday the public knows that how worthless you are, how bad of a cop you are. You couldn't even effect an arrest. You're a worthless cop. Holy shit. You couldn't even stop him to ask his name? Or what did he say? Holy shit. That's a worthless cop. Too scared to do his job. Holy shit. Terrified. That dude threatened me, and you're supposed to immediately stop that person once he makes those threats. Holy shit. He said, I'll beat you up. You guys watch, you'll watch it. So that cop is gay. He supports the gay community. Anybody who is gay making threats gets a pass. Holy shit. Holy shit. That's a gay police officer. And the guy made a threat towards me because he knew the cops here wouldn't care. Holy shit. Wow. So smart people, so harassment. So calling somebody a boss is a known way to harass somebody in the community. It's absolutely harassment. And everybody knows if somebody doesn't call you by your name, they're harassing you. If somebody is interacting with you and they use kid names or anything besides your name, it's a form of harassment. And he tried to sneak harassment, like a sneaking harassment. Holy shit. And then he threatened to beat me up because I told him to stop talking to me and he said he doesn't have to. So I told him to go fuck himself. That's harassment. So he harassed you and then he forced you to think he could talk to you if he wanted to. That's harassment. You don't have a right to bother people. If someone tells you to leave them alone, the normal thing for you to do is to leave them alone. And if you say you don't have to, it's like you're forcing yourself into their lives. And that's exactly the impression he wanted me to have, like he could force his way into my life. If he wanted to. Like he doesn't have to respect that I want my space. And then I told him to go fuck himself. If he was going to force his way into me, interfere with my freedom, I told him to go fuck himself. If he doesn't want to respect my space or doesn't want to respect the freedom I'm supposed to have, he can go fuck himself. He got mad and threatened to beat me up. That's a threat. That's a threat. That's illegal. That's not the way you respond to somebody telling you to leave you alone. And then these guys are acting tough. Like they could beat me up, they could hurt me, they could do whatever they want, or they have complete power. They don't have power. One, they're using an implant to stop me from getting stronger physically, or the illusion of strength. Two, no matter what they do, the reality is I can still tell. So no, if I die, if I'm suddenly dead, or my body will tell the story. So no matter what happens, I can still tell. Or they're telling me in my ears that this person believes they own the country. Well, if you own the country, why are you always lying? Why do you always lie? Instead of, why don't you just admit, well, yeah, he did that, he threatened you, and it is illegal, but I refuse to do my job. I don't want to, because I don't like you. I think you're gay. And as long as I think you're gay and you're not going to admit to being gay, I'm not going to do my job. So when you admit that you are gay, I will start working for you. But at the same time, the problems you're having will stop occurring. Well, they might or might not occur, but reoccur. But at the very least, I'll do my job to keep you safe. And these are gay police officers who don't believe in the law, don't believe in reality. They believe in illusions or their religion, their freedom. Freedom. So instead of being close to gravity, gay police officers exercise their freedoms more than they're supposed to. They're supposed to have gravity. They're supposed to be very strong. And that old cop was a sign of an ineffective police officer. He wasn't strong enough to do his job. And instead of doing his job, he decided to allow somebody who wasn't to pull the trigger. And they just told me if he got arrested, he would find you and kill you. They just told me that the dude in my ears, that if the cop had did his job and that dude was arrested, that guy would have, or got charged, he would have came and tried to kill you. He would have killed you right after that. Right the next day or right after he got charged, he would have murdered you. That's what they just told me in my ears. Because I refused to have sex with gay people. And they told lies for decades about who I was, and now they look like liars. So I was smart. I was so smart that I could explain the architecture, the hidden purpose in this building, and I learned how to improve all mankind. So I learned how to improve mankind for a purpose, to get stronger. right? And somebody told a lie and said I could never do that. I would never do that. I would never be able to help society or improve mankind. But I did. I found the secrets to building a strong civilization, and these people, and they just told me you should have been cool with that dude. But calling somebody a boss is a harassment. It's a sneaky way to harass somebody. And everybody knows that. You call somebody something besides their name, you are harassing them. And everybody in the hood or the ghettos or the projects, they know that name calling is the number one way to start fights. Calling somebody something that is not their name is the number one way to cause an argument, or to you immediately get told, don't call me that. Boss, kid, slick, nickname, any nicknames. You are immediately told, do not call me those names in the hood, really quick. And somebody who tells you, I'm going to call you that anyways, is trying to intimidate you and scare you and tell you, you ain't got a choice. You're going to accept what I got to say to you. It's harassment and then intimidation. So no, you don't get to call people names, and you don't get to continue to interfere with their freedoms if they tell you to stop. So that was the point I made. And then he didn't like that I wasn't that pleasant to talk to, so he decided to threaten me. That is a rapist. So, they basically just told me in my ears, the cop doesn't work for you. Then who does he work for? Who does he work for? The cop works for every citizen in this country. If you're a U.S. citizen, you are entitled to the rights of every U.S. citizen in this country. That was the gift the civilization gave to every person at birth, was rights throughout their existence. The gifts of gravity, the gravity of this nation, was given to each citizen in this country. And that officer is exercising his freedoms to protect and support the gay community. Holy shit. Gay rapists, harassers, and intimidators. In the very place where the strength of Wisconsin was supposed to be the strongest. Right here. So harassment and intimidation took place right at the center of Wisconsin, and the representatives of Wisconsin's gravity, the strength, the law enforcement in Wisconsin decided not to uphold the rights of given to every citizen to enjoy your freedom and to not be afraid or threatened by anyone while you are enjoying your freedoms. Well, that's a gay police officer. Holy shit, I was just threatened right in the center of the Capitol. And I guess in reality, if no one knows you were threatened, if no one knows what happened to you, or if the alternative is you getting murdered, then no one has to protect you. Right? Is that fair? I choose to have my freedom. I choose strength. I choose the perspective of gravity to make my decisions. When you're thinking about reality, I choose the perspective of gravity to make decisions about my life and the lives of the people around me. You can have your freedoms, or your thoughts about whether or not something's okay to do, as long as it doesn't interfere with other people's lives. And when that happens, you have to have a perspective of gravity at all times, so that the right choices are always made, and you're civilized, and people feel the history is in line with reality. So that's my opinion. If you have a perspective of gravity, history will always be in line with reality. And that's the most important thing that officers are supposed to do. They're supposed to affect arrests or be effective at their jobs, so that history maintains its course. The course is supposed to be different. History right now is supposed to be different. That person was supposed to be charged with disorderly conduct for making a threat. He's supposed to be charged with disorderly conduct for making a threat. You cannot threaten people in the state capitol. You can't do it. You're not supposed to walk up to somebody and say, "I'll beat you up in the state capitol," in front of a police officer and not be charged with disorderly conduct. And these are probably leaders of Wisconsin. And I guess if I post this on YouTube, all these leaders of Wisconsin won't ever be held accountable. They're gay. They're gay. They're gay. They support gay community culture. And if they support gay community culture, they allow threats to take place. They allow, feelings to run their course. So that's gay community culture. If you feel like breaking the law, if you feel like you being a bad person, if you have those feelings, you're supposed to act on them. You're supposed to act on those feelings. Holy shit. And that's how they decide the laws of this country, based on, they're not supposed to. Actually, in reality, the laws of this country aren't decided by feelings. They're decided by what's in line with the best civilization or the best, with gravity, the gravity of the universe. What makes the most sense in reality. But whether or not those laws are followed depends on the feelings of the people who are supposed to follow the law, right? And that's not how the civilization grows. Gets stronger. Our civilization can only get stronger if people follow the law, if people do the right thing at all times, at all times. And they just told me, the law, you're right. I was falsely accused of rape and sent to prison for 15 years. So if you want to talk about gravity or making sure people follow the law, you should talk about yourselves. You're hypocritical. You are hypocritical people who lie about being in tune with reality at all times. They broke the rules, and they keep breaking the rules. They follow their feelings. If they feel like you're gay, if they feel like you're a rapist, or they feel like you're a criminal, they'll just charge you with a crime and say you're the criminal, you're the bad person. But in reality, you have done nothing wrong. But some people use their feelings to make their decisions. And that's the gay community. They feel like certain things should be illegal, so they act on those feelings. So if that cop feels like there's no gravity, there's no law broken, there's nothing out of tune with reality, he decides to not press charges. But when you threaten somebody, you make them afraid, you effectively have broken the law. Whether somebody else feels like it's really bad or not, you effectively broke the law. And you can't do that. The fat woman over there is harassing me. Every time I speak, she's smiling, she's covering her face, she's laughing, she's joking, she's trying to get my attention. But I guess that's her duty, is to sit here and harass anybody who may come in that society doesn't like. So that's what they do. They sit there and they wait. They wait in certain places to harass people. They're all over town. People like her are all over town. I guess they wait for people to harass them. But in reality, the gravity of our nation is supposed to be strong. So it doesn't change. Right. So you see this area? It's not going to change. So the cops aren't supposed to change their opinions about the law. If the law says making threats is illegal, they're supposed to have the same gravity that's in this room when they make the decisions. They're not supposed to use their feelings and say, hey, the threat wasn't that bad, and nothing actually happened to you, so I'm not going to arrest somebody or charge somebody for making threats. That's not how this building functions. You don't get to choose when this building is supported, when this building has strength. You have to stabilize this building at all times. So there's no opportunity for wiggle room. If this building started wiggling or moving, it would collapse. And that's what's happening to civilization beneath the illusion of America's strength. Beneath the illusion of America's strength, we see gaps and holes and spaces where there's a waiver in law enforcement, or there's a waiver in stability, there's a waiver in shelter, because cops won't do their job because they're gay. They have sex with the people who are committing crimes. And if they're having sex with the people who are committing crimes, they don't feel like arresting them. Why would they put a gay person in prison when they teach people to act on their freedoms? That's hypocrisy. So if you're telling me, if I feel like teaching me as a child that I can threaten people, I can beat people up, why would you arrest me for it when I do it? Right? So these cops are the groomers and the rapists of our communities. Or they support and shelter and protect the rapists and the intimidators and the harassers instead of supporting, sheltering, and protecting the people who came here to have the best life possible. I came here to teach people about gravity. And I also came here to enjoy my freedom. And someone decided to harass me because I was having too good of a time, or to test me to see if I would respond with violence to a threat of intimidation, to harassment or intimidation. I chose not to do either. I chose to tell again. And that's another choice that police officers don't like. They hate people who do the right thing. Right? Well, the right thing was to tell. I was supposed to tell that I was being harassed or intimidated or threatened. And the police are supposed to do something about it. But again, another officer decided to think that if it isn't that bad, if you don't actually get hurt, there is no crime committed. But if I threatened somebody, they would immediately arrest me. And they just told me it's because you're on probation or you're a felon. But people, before they become felons, had to have committed a crime. So if what the opinion of the cop is accurate, then every single time that someone commits a crime, they get a pass because they're not a criminal, right? So when do you keep track of when do you make the determination that when you feel like it? Is the law a feeling, or is the law when something really bad happens that people get charged with crimes? That's not how it works, man. Now these people have many victims, many tiny victims that whose voices don't get heard. And the same people who commit very bad crimes, murder, rape, robbery, stabbings, all these horrible crimes, there's plenty of opportunities to catch these people with lesser crimes or to charge these people. So people are aware that they're dangerous or aware that they will harm people. Right? That's the point of charging people at all times, so that you know that at any given moment, these people will do horrible things to other people. Holy shit. And that's the purpose. That is the purpose of having strength. But I gotta go. And I gotta go to this, to a event downtown, so I gotta go. Gay community harassment. Little gay kids. Gay children. The children of the gay community. Harassing people. They love to sneak harass people. So if you're gay, you raise your kids to tell them to say or do things inappropriate to people to harass them. And eventually you'll watch them get aggravated, and eventually you'll watch them get mad. And if you can make them mad, hopefully bad things will happen that they can be arrested for. So that's what gay people teach their kids, to get rid of straight people or to get straight people to have sex with them. Constantly harass that person, and you'll get them angry, get them incarcerated, and they'll learn that there's nothing they can do to beat this form of harassment and aggravation. So just do what I say, and eventually I'll stop harassing. I'll stop hurting your feelings. I'll stop saying and doing things to you that you don't like in exchange for sex. So that's the gay community. And we're not moving forward. We will never move forward because gay people are interfering with progress, the progress of all mankind. is strength, staying close to gravity. And as long as everybody's acting on their feelings and exercising their freedoms, we will never make progress in reality. We will always be weak. And as long as we're weak, people can continue to be harmed, can continue to be abused or threatened or intimidated or harmed. So I don't support cops who aren't effective or don't believe in the gravity. There is importance. My life is incredibly valuable. I only have one life to live. And I came to help people improve their lives. And all of these people are pretending like the incredible news about living longer, having strength, having stamina, having density, or learning or exploring space with gravity has no value. In reality, it has incredible value. Exploring space, getting stronger, being stronger, having life is an incredible thing that you're supposed to do in your lifetime. And they're acting like this is news that has no value. But it has value. It has incredible value. And they're gay people. They're angry gay people who decided to practice gay culture instead of getting closer to gravity where they have more strength. Will have better gifts than implants and ass sex or swallowing semen and having sex with the same sex. So that's what gay people decided to teach our entire civilization, to exercise those freedoms. Instead of exercising the incredible freedom to grow closer to gravity and be stronger, be denser, be faster, have stamina, have everything you need in the world. I have told enough people for several years how to do this. And they're ignoring reality because the truth is too painful. The truth that they were sucking penises. Men were sucking each other's penises and swallowing their semen or bending over and getting ass raped was too bad. It's too bad to know. It's too horrible for them to realize they were doing the wrong thing. So they won't admit it. But I gotta go.